crazy. It's other than we've already
A win.
a win tonight, as always, and we with the win, 15 wins eclipses last year's win total. So everybody got their. Derek, go ahead.
Keyontae, you caught that lob there at the end. Where does that kind of rank in terms of your dunks and finishes throughout your career?
That might have been number one because like that kind of sealed the deal for us. So I say that's definitely number one for me.
Markquis, what's kind of going through your mind and what you're trying to do there as you get that lob, because you were kind of getting yourself into a dangerous spot?
Yeah, I seen that they put two on the ball, and the way Naquan's or Keyontae man was helping, he was a little bit above him. So I just, figured throw it up to Key. I know he'd catch it.
Is it fair to say when you kind of didn't have your offensive game going tonight that you kind of put a little bit more intensity towards your defensive game?
I try to rebound as much as I could down there, try to help Bebe or Naquan on their 5-man. So, I knew at half I was 1 for 7 going into the half, and then I just knew I'd try to do something. Offense wasn't going, try to do something productive for the team.
Markquis, a couple of games in a row with pretty steady offense for the team-wise. How much did Oklahoma State make things tough for you guys?
You got to give a lot of credit to them. They defended well. They blocked, how many shots? A lot of our shots. And we know, they are the number one team defensively in a conference. So you got to give a lot of credit to them. They play hard. They got a lot of second chance points, which led them to stay in the game. But we just adjusted in the second half. We try to not take too many tough twos and look for the open man. And once we did that, things started rolling.
Desi, how tough were they to get in passing lanes and make things difficult for you guys?
Like Markquis said, they're a very good team. They're a very good team, but also they're number one in the Big 12 in defense. So we try to move the ball, try to space forward, and try to get paint touches and try to get the open passes. That's what we worked on all week in practice.
Keyontae, how much did them changing up defenses from zone to man and maybe a little junk defense kind of throw you guys off?
I feel like in the first half it did, just didn't know if they were staying in the zone or staying in the man. But once we started realizing, we just moved the ball to find the open man, and big time players started knocking down the shots.
This is the first time that a lot of people had been able to see you live and see your athleticism. How exciting was that for you?
I was excited. More excited that we got the win, really. Just come back. We've been on the road, so to come back in Bram and just get the win as a ranked team, just show them how much hard work we've been putting in. That's really the main thing for me, was just trying to go out there and get the win, not really play for the crowd.
What do you think about the crowd and loudness tonight?
One of the best crowds I've been around, for sure. Definitely loud. We couldn't hear the play calls when we was trying to switch on defense and stuff, so we need to bring that every game.
Desi, you played in a lot of loud environments at Arkansas, same with you, Keyontae, at Florida, but just kind of talk about that crowd a little bit more and maybe what did that do and kind of help you guys tonight?
That's one of the best crowds I ever been in, even though I played at Arkansas. But Brown, we got one of the best fans in the nation. Matter of fact, in the country. Without them, I don't feel like we came out with the win like we did, because they brought the energy, we fed off of it. We played together, we stuck together, and we came out with the win.
Coach always say when you got the crowd with us, it make us up 10 to start off. So I feel like with them, just knowing they was there, just got us all hyped up for the game, and it was a great feeling.
And Markquis, I want to ask you about Desi. How nice is it to have somebody to be able to come off the bench like he's been able to do and take some load off of you and really help everybody else?
Man, he was big time tonight, and just, he's a confident player. He plays with energy, and we need that Desi every day. He's starting to get clicking now, but when he's rolling and he's out there having fun, that's when he's at his best. He's a big spark off of our bench, but he's not a bench player. And he plays, like a starter, and he accepts his role very well. And I'm just so happy to see, his production on the court. He's like a brother to me, and we just love him, and we just need that more every game.
And then the last 2 games, Markquis, you guys have obviously had the super high offensive output. Just wasn't necessarily there like you guys have kind of talked about tonight. Is it more of a challenge to kind of shift the mindset and say, okay, this has to be more of a defensive game, or is that something you guys talk about, and how did you manage to do that tonight?
We just try to focus. We always try to focus on guarding. Like I said, Mike Boynton is a very good coach. I'm pretty sure he watches a lot of film, so he made some big time adjustments in game, and that's what threw us off, for the most part. But like Keyontae said, once we started getting clicking and once we started, seeing what they were in, it was easier to score.
Markquis, you talked about Desi coming off the bench, but what did Ish and Bebe, guys like that, what did their energy bring off the bench?
Big time. Just their energy, their willingness to rebound and defend, and just, Bebe went 3 for 3 at the line, and that was big time for us. We needed those points and we needed those free throws, and he works extremely hard, and so does Ish. So just whenever they get in the game, you could trust them to have your back and to go out there and fight.
Yeah, you talked about defense, but what does this show? Maybe this team, you guys showed you could win a high-scoring game, but this was kind of more of like a rock fight, it seemed like. Did that kind of show that you guys can win any style game, you think?
Coach Markquis said in a huddle or before the game, he talked about, this was going to be an up-and-down game. This was going to be like a fist fight. And we knew that coming into this game, so we just try to stay poised and stay with each other, in them tough situations. We practice, fight to grind. So when times do get rough, and we got 5 minutes on the clock, we know how to, fight through adversity. So.
And Coach also mentioned yesterday in the press conference, he said the big crowd is great, but sometimes when you're not used to playing in front of that big a crowd, it takes a while to settle down. Did you feel like you guys maybe were a little bit overexcited early in the game?
I feel like this was our first game back from a long road trip. So once we settled down, we was pretty good, but we love the fans, man. We want them here. We have the best fans in the nation, and we feed off of that. It was great to see, a lot of people in the stands, and we got to give a lot of credit to our university and to what this team has built, over the past couple months. So.
Markquis, Deuce Vaughn told us one time when he scores a touchdown, he doesn't really hear the crowd for some reason, doesn't hear the deuce, but of course the fans are a lot further out. Are you hearing every decibel when you hit a big 3 here in Bramlage?
Yeah, I hear it. It's pretty cool. You try to stay locked in, though. You try to stay in the moment. You try to not, let that get to you because it's a long game, but I hear it.
How does it feel to know the next 4 games are sold out? Home games.
That's big time. Shout out to the fans, man. Great fans.
On the lob, when you let it go, was it a little bit of adrenaline that you might have thrown it a little bit higher than you would have anticipated?
That's Keyontae Johnson. I see him jump every day. I know he's a great athlete, and we have that connection where, we look each other, in the eye, and he tells me throw it up, and I just do that. But he's a great athlete, so.
Almost about anywhere it was.
I told him in practice the other day, if you're going to throw a lot, just throw it by the backboard, close up to the top square. And I feel like today he finally did it. So.
Markquis, I want to know, in the moment, how high is your confidence level when you take just like 3 steps across midcourt and put up a shot like that and it goes in?
My confidence is high because of the work I put in each and every day. I work on those shots, before practice, after practice. So when in game, it feels like practice. And, Coach always talks about taking practice shots, and that's what I try to do. Yeah.
And Desi, what was Coach's message to you guys trailing at halftime? That hadn't happened in a while.
He just told us to come out and beat us, move the ball, get paint touches, and play together and stay together. Play off the fans, and they bring energy. And we got one of the best players in the country. Both of these guys right here, so we go as they go. If they get going, we're gonna get going. We feed off them.
Markquis, you go up against Desi every day in practice with the guard-to-guard stuff. How much of a better player has he made you this year?
He's made me a great player. I mean, he's a tough guard. He's very competitive, and just every day I know, when I'm looking at him, I got to bring my best. But he's fierce. He's from Arkansas. He's tough, so he's really good, man.
Keyontae, was that the most physical team you've played on the inside this season?
Yeah, for sure.
What did they do in particular on the glass? What were the things you kind of had to counter in terms of rebounding, try and keep them off the glass?
I mean, right when the guard, they big wedged us underneath the basket real well. So, like, we would get stuck on the top side of them, and they'll be right in the right spot. But they also got like a lot of long rebounds too when they miss the three. So that was like another part that played into it.
Keyontae, you've talked a little bit about your offensive struggles tonight making shots, but in the second half you had a couple on the baseline turnaround jumpers. In the first half you got into the lane a few times and had the same kind of shot fall. What kind of confidence do you have in your ability right now to create enough space with a turnaround fade or to finish over somebody?
Just like Keith said, I mean, those shots are like what I work on, just trying to do different kind of moves. I know different teams are going to have different scout on me, so just trying to find a different moves to do and just like take practice shots as well. So I feel like those shots I usually take.
Any of you guys can answer this one. I just want to know how connected with the fans are you? After each game in Bramlage, you guys go around, high five with all the fans. That's not something that we have seen every year in Bramlage Coliseum. So, what's that kind of tradition like so far, early in this season still, and how much do you like that Coach Tang made that a thing?
I feel like it's a big thing. Just shows how much we're involved with the fans, and the more we interact with them, the more they'll come respect us and come to the game and just show their support. So I feel like that's our way of showing support to them and just thanking them, going around. That's the best thing we can do rather than take pictures and make their day. I mean, they came out and paid for us, so just going out and just taking pictures with the fans is a blessing. And I think for Coach Tang to change that around is a big time, just show how much engagement he has with the fans base as well.
Markquis, there's a lot of people across the country who became aware of this program over the last week. For you guys to get the notoriety, the publicity, and then to follow it up with a win tonight in this atmosphere, just what did tonight show you about your team?
It's great to have, that number attached to your name. Coach always talks about celebrating wins, so we want to celebrate that. But we know, there's a price to pay with that. We're going to get teams, best shot. And we just try to stay hungry and humble, through it all. Being ranked wasn't, our ultimate goal. It was to win a Big 12 championship and go to the NCAA tournament. So that's the ultimate goal. And each and every day we got to focus on that and nothing else.
Keyontae, they maybe, I don't know if taunted is the right word, but they maybe let you have it when they scored on you one time in the first half. I think you returned the favor late. Does that fire you up at all when maybe there's a little trash talking going on out there, or when you feel like they're telling you that you can't guard them or something like that?
Nah, I mean, I was just going with the momentum. I mean, usually, I don't know. It was just like something that just happened at the time, man. I know the first half I was struggling, so when I got the and one, it was just trying to get myself going, and that's when I ended up doing with the little signature, too small thing.